So my name is Josh Colbert. I'm the production manager here. I've been with the company for coming up on 13 years now. My current role, I'm in charge of all hourly employees on the production side, production and warehouse. So in total, there's about 190 hourly employees under me, including about 10 salaried, ranging from trainers, supervisors, engineers.
What's a typical day look like for you?
A lot of it is making sure we're hitting our KPIs, right? Our operational output, our efficiencies. Spend about 2 to 3 hours a day out on the floor trying to make sure that we're running well, we're running safely, our quality is high, addressing any concerns the hourly employees might have from operational, training, equipment, personnel, whatever it might be. And then the rest of the time kind of managing. So one of the hats that I wear here is I'm also our IT person, which is kind of where I got involved with the weavix side. We are a union site, so there's a lot of my time is spent with union needs.
What kind of things does a production manager measure on either a regular basis?
So day to day would be efficiencies, so material efficiency, how much scrap we're making versus virgin output. Time efficiency, how much uptime versus downtime, some people call yield. I'm also looking at number of pounds, because just because you hit your efficiencies, you might not actually make your output, but we check those ones. I also look at what our call out ratio was, how many people we have versus how many people we should have on site. I'm looking at their overtime costs, how many people are in training versus how many people are qualified, nitty gritty engineering stuff, how are we running efficiently on our energy, our water, our waste. We are a glass plant, so we have to consistently look at the temperature of our furnace. We've got thousands of tons of molten glass on site at all times. We have to make sure that that is all right. So there's a lot of analysis that goes into that. And then for the bigger pictures, it's how am I going to portray these data to my manager who wants to see kind of week in, week out versus his manager that wants to see month in, month out, and then the 5-year plan. It's a lot.
What's your favorite thing about being a production manager and maybe your least favorite thing?
Least favorite would be the union. I'm a big proponent of do your job. I hire you for a job, do that. And a lot of the times with the union facility, you have a little more headbutting on what they determine what their job should be versus what I think their job should be. So my most favorite is I'm an engineer at trades. So there's a lot of changes. It's a 51-year-old plant with 51-year-old pieces of equipment. So every day is a new challenge to make sure that stuff runs. How do we get that technology and that safety aspects of the equipment up into our expectations now, right? So there's a lot that goes into that. It's a process. You have a good day yesterday, nothing changes, maybe the temperature goes up, and now all of a sudden you have a bunch of heartaches. So trying to figure out the process and what are variables that we can eliminate to get rid of those upsets.
In terms of like keeping you up at night?
Safety is always going to keep me up at night, especially with some of the equipment. We do have a 65-year-old rolling up machine, which is very intimidating to watch. But again, it's a 24/7 plant. There's 2 of us that are on call around the clock. I'm one of them. So a lot of the times it's the upsets. I can do the majority of the engineering. So my team will call me before they call the engineers. That way the engineers are fresh for the day in, and I can just kind of slog around through the days. We melt all of our glass on site. So we bring in all the raw materials. Okay. We have one line that we make is the stuff for your walls, and then one line we make is the white fluffy stuff you'd see up in your attic. So our product is really good about the capturing carbon. We are carbon neutral after about 3 days of installation, and then we go carbon negative after that. So we actually absorb a ton. So the more insulation you have in your house, the better it is for the environment, right? Our company was one of the ones that started the Paris Concords of 2050 sign-offs. That'll mean that 2030 is our first big one, and then by 2050 we'll be carbon neutral across the board.
How important is communications for you and for your plant, for CertainTeed?
Oh, they're critical. So prior to going to the wall, we used a random bucket of personal cell phones, company cell phones, old Motorola 200D. But because they're so expensive and they're so bulky, we only allowed certain people to carry them because there is that entanglement risk. Mm-hmm. And then an overhead PA system. So any kind of changeover we would have, we would send it out to the PA. I did mention my plant's 50 years old. Our PA system's 45, right? So there are some areas that it just doesn't work. So then those areas would have the Motorola's, and then other areas we use cell phones. So there was a lot of communication, but it was not centralized in any way. There was things falling through the cracks. It took the majority of our engineering employees, there's 35 engineers, and then the managers, so about 40 of us all together, which is great during the days, but on nights and the weekends when we're still running, they're not here. So we found a lot of gaps. There was a lot of production upsets, and just a hard time running. We kind of kicked the can down a little bit and said, we'll just give everybody cell phones, which is a great idea until you realize you can't really lock down a cell phone. And once you do, they figure out the password, and then it just becomes cell phones everywhere. So because it is manufacturing, there's a lot of risks. We did not want people scrolling when they should be paying attention.
Would you be like walking around your site on the floor and see people on their cell phones scrolling around?
Oh, constantly. Because it's union, we had to have certain protections on the salary side, right? So let's say myself as a manager, if I saw somebody, I would have to grab a supervisor and say, hey, you see that person too? We would have to get them on camera. We'd have to sit them down, coach them on it, write them up. It would take hours to write somebody up. With the weavixes, because everybody carried them, not just the leads, not just the engineers or the supervisors, it really has increased the number of communications we have month over month.
Just to recap, you had a scattering of some people just using cell phones still, some people using the Motorola ones, but very few.
Yep.
And then other people, other departments or roles or whatever had nothing.
Had nothing, yes sir. And the ones that had cell phones, so like myself and the other engineers, you had your personal cell phone, your company cell phone, and then your radio and the PA system. So we were just carrying tons of stuff, including
like in a bag or on your
just on you, because
on?
It's all entanglement, so you can't have a bag with you, right? It's got to be on you and be able to break away from you. So it was
so when you're bending down or whatever.
Yep, things just fall out.
Just like pulling you down. Was there like a tipping point that happened, and how did you learn about Walt? Was it like a research project? Was it another plant that introduced you? Or
we really started looking at better communication when we had a scary lone worker situation, and we've had those issues in the past, but kind of few and far between. The last one was about 10 years ago, but this one happened. We were lucky enough that myself and an engineer were walking by and saw what happened, and were able to get the employee. But if we didn't, they wouldn't have been found, and it would have been a really bad situation. So we started looking at the Motorola, and they did have upgraded ones, but they were, again, they're bulky, they're heavy. The batteries last about 7 hours, and it's a 12-hour shift here, and they're just very expensive for what they're asking. So that's when we started looking at cell phones, and we started rolling the cell phones out, the company cell phones. The problem is if you don't have service, that's one problem, and you can't really lock down a phone. I mean, there's certain apps you can stop, but you can still get around them. That's when we realized that there was a local plant next to us about 2 hours away, a CertainTeed plant, another division that was using it. So that's when we reached out to them to say, hey, we want to see what this looks like. We really wanted to find something that A, had the man down button, but B, had the man down where we would hear it no matter what. If I'm at home, I want to be identified immediately that somebody's having an issue, so I can start calling around at the plant or get there myself. And that's what we really went for. So your man down button, that was the number one seller for us. All the extra bells and whistles has been great, but that was the initial point of us saying, okay, let's see how this thing works. I like it because if, let's say I'm sleeping, my phone doesn't stop until I answer that phone call. So my wife doesn't love it as much, but it's a great thing to know at 2 a.m. when somebody pushed that button. When we started looking at the actual weavixes, the big one for me was the recording. I'm in the South. We have a different dialect, right? A little bit lazier, some of us do. You can't train with certain people because when they talk, you're like, I have no idea what you just said to me. The ability to go back and refresh and replay, it allowed better communication across the board with everybody, right? So because there might be 5 or 6 conversations going on at once, if you need to go back and look at those ones, you can go back and see who said it, what they said. That's just been astronomical how much better our communication has been, because there's no, hey, can you come back? Hey, what'd you say? I didn't hear you. It's loud. None of that. So they can just go through and replay it, relook at it, and keep going. So we have other programs, right? See something, say something. A lot of companies have something like that, where we've pushed out these initiatives and we just don't get feedback. And now that we're pushing out these initiatives and saying, hey, you can use your weavix to fill out this form if you see a safety concern, or we really want to hear from you, we're starting to see a better communication from the floor. I think the fact is that they say, hey, this is broken, and we see it and we get it fixed, and they're seeing the corrections and the improvements because we can all see it, right? All the engineers and all the managers, we're all having the weavixes as well. So when we see these issues, we're getting them corrected, and now it's having a positive impact on our overall culture.
As far as the difference between like a Motorola and a weavix Walt Radio?
For us, we have an all-call channel, which is everybody in production, everybody, and then we have a maintenance channel. The old time with the Motorola, if you're on channel 1, it's production, channel 2 is maintenance, and channel 3 is supervisors, right? So we hear it all. Well, if you're on the wrong channel and you say something, no one's gonna be like, hey, you're on the wrong channel, unless it's getting really annoying, right? So with these ones, you can tell, like, you go to maintenance, you say, hey, maintenance, I need this, and then they respond back. I think that has been a big one. I think we're 10% on private versus total. I think it's 15,000 a month and about 1,500 on private. And for me, that's great. Whether it's positive communication and it's helping our time efficiencies and material efficiencies have gone up since we've rolled out weavix.
As far as using geofencing,
it has been helpful to when we're losing radios or when people misplace them to try to find where they are. So that's a great aspect of it. We've identified some in Mexico that we've accidentally shipped with products before. We've found a lot in a landfill, unfortunately.
Last feature type question is around taking images, taking photos or videos or whatnot. Have you used that
Yes.
Or your teams have used that?
Yeah, they love it. Mainly because when we see a process issue, a lot of our employees are newer within the last 5 years of experience. So when they see issues on the floor, especially with a product, they'll take it and they'll send it out to the management team and say, hey, what's happening? Or, hey, I'm having an equipment piece of whatever, some problems. So they'll send out a video of it happening, and then it's so much easier to diagnose that problem, right? When you can actually see what's happening versus getting their input. So I think it's 1% of our total output of a month is pictures and videos, which is still huge, 150 a month. We've heard very positive things from the floor with that one. We have this issue with one of our products. As it goes by, we have an area where we're trying to cool it. So we have to pull it under immense pressure. And every now and again, it just gets sucked into the fan, and then we create a huge line down. And we couldn't figure out what was happening, and an employee took a video of right before it happened, and we could start to see some variation in the product, kind of some rippling, and we were able to determine what in our process was occurring. So, we hadn't seen that prior to that until he said, here, this is what happened right before. And then we could start figuring out, A, how to catch it, turn the fans off when we see this issue, but B, how to prevent it in the future. It did kickstart a Kaizen group, which was beneficial on our process later on.
What was like the most surprising thing you've noticed about how people are using the Walt systems?
I was surprised on how much communication. When you hear it, day in and day out, I've got mine muted right now mainly because of this, but we're at 550 text messages right now today and 900 maintenance calls, or 500 maintenance calls and 900 all calls. So again, the fact that our employees are constantly in communication with one another, I love it, right? Instead of them yelling, instead of them missing it, or a few people in the know, everybody's in the know, we're all understanding. Even walking out on the floor, I always kind of had this birdie in mind of like looking for people on their phones still. And when you come up on someone and you see them kind of hovered over, you're like, oh man, and then you walk up and they're just going through the weavix. Like that is what I want to see, that you're going through the communication, you understand what's happening.
Would you feel confident saying that you're getting a good return on investment?
I think so, yeah. Even if it's for the fact that we can actively communicate out any alerts and then we hear back from the man down, that to us has been a big saver. And again, we hear it, think of the old communication, something happens, they reach out to supervisor texts all of us. Now we hear, hey, we got to jam up on the line, we know it's happening, or hey, we're seeing this coming down, or we have a fire in the oven, whatever it might be. So time to respond to a lot of these process issues has gone down, leading to higher efficiencies. So on the ROI, I would say yes, absolutely.
Has improving the communications frequency, more adoption of the device, has that improved the culture?
What it has led to is less dependency on the few who knew all of it, right? So the guys that had all the experience, the guys that knew what was happening, for these, they were the ones that carried the radio. So you had your leads and your line operators. So everybody was very dependent on them. So they, whether they knew it or not, they carried a lot more power, right? A lot more influence on the floor. So they would always go to them. And now an employee can come straight to me, which is 2 or 3 layers higher than him, right? And ask me a question. I'm like, oh yeah, here's a documented response. Having that has changed the dynamics a little bit, the power dynamics within the unit itself, which is fine. I'm okay with that. Yeah. But also I think it's improving the us versus them mentality, because it's not, oh, I heard this. It's, hey, Josh, on the radio with everyone hearing it, I heard this on the floor. Is it true? Like, no, let's talk about what's happening. With the open communication, allowing more people to be in the know, and then luckily you have more questions and you have better input when you have more people involved, right?
Was there resistance because they were union workers to use the device, like because they thought, oh, this is data, this is corporate?
First thing that came out was we all want cell phones, but we don't want it recorded and we don't want it owned. Like, okay, well, if it's a company cell phone, the company owns it. If you text yourself, now the company can get into your personal phone, right? And like that's where there's a lot of stuff that opens up. So it's been pretty positive. The president of the union was very adamant it wouldn't work. And then when we rolled it out, I think his radio was the first to break, and all hell broke loose that he didn't have a radio and he wanted mine. No problem, he'd have mine. So once we started getting that buy-in really quickly, they all wanted to make sure they had theirs on. So our maintenance has gone up, and our reliability on that equipment has gone up. And whether what connection it is, there's a lot of variables and stuff, but just showing them, saying, hey, you've complained before that operations doesn't know what they're fighting, but now they're sending you pictures, and now our downtime is getting reduced from it. So
would you say you would recommend this product?
Yeah, so we actually helped the other two insulation plants. We pushed them hard to go ahead and go through it. So I think they both have as well, the plant in Kansas City, and there's a plant in California that they're getting ready to roll that out. And then I've talked to a couple other plants, our gypsum plants and a couple of our roofing plants, and kind of have them come on site, because there is the aspect of seeing y'all's presentation and what you have to offer, and then seeing the CertainTeed's, Saint-Gobain's, how we're actually using it. So it's been pretty beneficial, and I've reached out to Enos as well on some of their tactics as well. So we have a good communication intercompany about it, but it's we're pushing it pretty hard. So
if someone was on the fence about the product, what would you tell them?
If you've got the space for it, it's going to be more beneficial than any of the other things. I liked the safety aspect of it, the alerts, the constant communication. When we first rolled it out, I know my plant manager and myself, we did this a lot, was we would go home and watch how the line ran, right? So I've already got my computer open all the time, just kind of checking all the numbers, but just kind of listening to, we had a jam up, obviously we had to stop that or I'd get a divorce at some point. So the ability to go on and say, okay, my supervisor says we got an issue, I can get on there and see what the issue is happening, see what they're talking about. So you get that full communication around the clock. It's very, very beneficial.
Is there anything else you can think of to share?
Your team does a really good job of responding. I do like the constant innovation it seems that you're doing. You're rolling out the new things, you're listening to the sites, and you're listening to your customers and making the improvements there. Your customer service is super well trained. Like, I'm very, very pleased with them. So whether it's me texting from the weavix, hey, I've got a problem, they do such a great job. The plant's very appreciative of how quickly they respond.